Hey, Jeff Carlisa here from 38 Special, and we're rocking it up right here with Traders Nation.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have back with us once again Danielle Shay. She's Director of Options and Trader Specialist at Simpler Trading. Danielle, welcome back to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Doing good. Doing good. So Johnson & Johnson, they announced this $5 billion share buyback program after a report wipes out $50 billion in market value. That's pretty big, isn't it? What is this a confidence move for J&J, or what's going on there?
I mean, I honestly feel like it's the CEO trying to do anything he can to save the stock at this point. Sure. And I feel like it was very I feel like it was timed very coincidentally to the negative news that went out about the asbestos and the baby powder. So.
Right. Yeah, pretty timely, wasn't it? What a coincidence. And we're talking about Alex Gorski. He's the CEO of Johnson & Johnson right now. So, yeah, so what's going on over there? So there's this news report that came out, and I think there's like nearly 12,000 lawsuits accusing J&J of the talc baby powder of causing ovarian cancer, certain sorts of cancers, and so forth, right?
Yes, and I mean, there are a lot of different scandals that will affect companies that I kind of think, well, you know, it'll sell off for a couple days and then maybe it'll bounce back, and I'm not too concerned about it.
Right.
But, you know, asbestos in baby powder, cancer for babies, I mean, that is one of the things that is just, I mean, it seems as though that news is going to take a long time to get out of the news wires, especially because of the lawsuits.
Yeah, and you know what? And the lawsuits, the problem is the news cycles generally last about 2-3 days, but lawsuits tend to go on forever. So this almost seems like it's going to be in front of the public, in front of the trading public, if you will, also investors, and they may look to stay away from Johnson & Johnson. Certainly that's a huge concern for them. I'm not quite sure how they're going to be able to overcome that, Danielle.
I think it's going to be incredibly hard to overcome, you know, but at the same time, I mean, I'm looking at a chart of Johnson & Johnson, and they've had multiple other instances where the stock has just gotten completely creamed in a similar fashion to what happened this time. And so for that reason, I feel like, you know, I think that if Johnson & Johnson can hold above about 120, then maybe we can look for, you know, about 120, 125, because the reason for those numbers is, I mean, that's symmetry. If you're looking at the previous pullbacks that this stock has experienced, this one is at this time similar. So if it could hold those levels, then I think possibly we could look to buy it, but I still think that it's incredibly tricky trying to touch something that is affected by such negative news.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because certainly as in technical analysis, we look at the charts and we say, yeah, you know, we find support at a certain level, like you're talking about, and then you see a nice reversal coming into it. But then as a trader, we never know if something else may come out of the blue and blindside the stock once again. So there's got to be some concerns there on some of these trades, right?
Yes, definitely. And that's why I really prefer not to trade a name that's constantly in the news with some negative headlines. I mean, if you take Wynn, for example, the casino, when the CEO was under investigation for sexual misconduct. I mean, that gave the stock a real hammering as well. And you typically just want to avoid those names until it's out of the news cycle. But with the lawsuits, I mean, you just never know when it's going to pop up again. Yeah,
you're exactly right. In fact, we cover gambling stocks here on Traders Nation. Wynn was on our list, you know, made a nice $200 move, and then all of a sudden, you're right, news came out about the CEO, Steve Wynn himself, and the stock has tumbled ever since. It looked like it was going to recover a couple times, but never really did, and not looking so good today. All right, so the stock buyback plan, they really need to be careful about that. And you got $5 billion worth of stock that they're looking to buy back, and certainly it's at their discretion. How are they going to pull that off? Probably over a period of time, if at all?
I mean, I would question if they even have a specific plan for it, or
Sure.
if it was just a, hey, we have to send something positive into the news
Sure.
due to this baby powder incident. But they would have to pull it off over a period of time if that's what they're planning to do.
Sure.
And, I mean, that news event, I do think it could push it a little bit higher. I mean, if you take Facebook, for example,
Yeah.
I think it was last week when they announced the buybacks,
Right.
it did push Facebook higher for a good 4 or 5 days or so. But, I mean, then look what happened yesterday. It's tumbling again. So I think that the impact will be negligible.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I've seen the buybacks, and those are generally the knee-jerk reactions that come out from companies. This is what we're going to do. This is a positive event. It's supposed to exude confidence in their company and the price and et cetera. But this doesn't last as long as some of the news that they're trying to battle. It really doesn't, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's just, especially when you have a flashy news story about babies, it's just, it's an attempt, but I think that it'll be soon forgotten.
Right. All right. So what are you looking at in the markets outside of J&J? What's looking good for you guys here today?
So honestly, I am incredibly bearish this market. I was previously trading healthcare, consumer staples, and utilities as those were the stronger sectors. But what I'm seeing this week is just rather concerning, because you have even the previous stronger sectors that are all trading lower as well. So at this point, looking at the S&Ps, when you have all of your sectors trading lower, there's just nothing to pull it up.
Right.
And so I am primarily focusing on shorting the market. I have shorts on in Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, as well as Apple. And so I've been focusing on trading the fangs to the downside, because we're just not seeing any buyers coming in here at all.
Right. And listen, we're in the thick of the retail area too, and I'm not seeing any good numbers coming out of retail. I'm not sure if maybe it's a little bit early for retail, but we got the retail, which is online processors like Amazon, and Walmart, which is is your big box plus retail, and then payment processors along with that, Danielle, that process all the payments. I'm just not seeing any good numbers coming out yet. Again, maybe it's early. Your thoughts?
I think it might be a little bit early, but at this point, I mean, I feel like the stocks got a little bit of a bump after Black Friday. There was a lot of news about Walmart being such a strong competitor with Amazon as far as Black Friday and Cyber Monday went. But the move was quickly sold off. And, I mean, for me, even if there are strong retail numbers, at this point, Amazon, it still remains in a downtrend for me. And even if there is some positive news for a day or two, I would honestly look to short that retracement, because I've got a price target of about $1,300 on Amazon.
Nice. All right. Outlook in 2019 as we finish up 2018. How you think we're going to go into 2019? We're almost out of time.
So I am very bearish this market. The only thing that I think will give us a slight retracement is the fact that the selling has been so constant, and at this point we are very oversold in the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow. And so what I'm looking for is for everyone who wants to sell, and then at that point, we can finally bounce a little bit, but I'm going to short those rallies.
So here's the deal. So if you're going to sell, hurry up and sell and get out of the way, right, Danielle? All right, so we're right, can you just do it and get it out of the way, all right? We got things that are going on here. Where can we find you, Danielle?
You can find me at Simpler Options, so it's at www.simplertrading.com/join.
Awesome. Head on over there today. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
You bet.